Hey guys, it's the Ink Artist. Today I'm illustrating Jesus Christ in Clip Studio Paint. But before we get into it guys, make sure to leave a like on the video, smash that subscribe button, and hit all notifications. Thanks as always guys. To begin, after importing the pencil layer, I selected the G pen and on a new layer, I traced over the pencils. I used this pen mostly for outlining the general face shape, and I changed the thickness levels of the strokes by increasing and decreasing the pen's pressure. I used the effect lines for the eyes because they gave very sharp line variations. It was especially helpful with the edges of the eye. Here's a tip. Even though it worked for me, I don't recommend using this pen because the effect is computerized, and I don't have as much control with how the lines look. I'm using the mapping pen and outlining the clothing and neck. This pen gives a smoother, natural style and lets me get better strokes with it. And it's also less pixelated. I'm outlining the areas of shadow in the hair and on the side of the face, which I will color later in black. And I'm also using straight lines to form cross hatches for the shadows on the face. On the same layer, I use the Wand tool, which is actually next to the Lasso tool, to select these areas while making sure that I have the Refer to All Layers setting toggled on. Here's a tip. Sometimes when you use the Fill tool, it does not completely cover the area, and you'll often get these weird white spots, so it helps to go over these areas again with the pen and just fill it in manually. Here, I've hidden the pencil layer, increased the size of the effect line to 332, and painted the subject on a new normal layer, beneath the ink layer. For the flatting, I prefer to keep the blending mode normal, because these are the base tone colors, and doing it this way keeps the colors as basic as possible. After painting this, I found that using the wand tool to select larger areas on the ink layer and then filling in these areas with the paint bucket tool really speeds up this process. I kept each color on a separate layer and then placed each colored section above the previous one. This is just to avoid any confusion when it comes to erasing the excess color outside of the lines. By the way, to make a new layer, all you need to do is go to the layer panel, and from there you can get a raster layer, a vector layer, or even a gradient layer. After selecting the face, I changed the blending mode to hard light. I used the opaque watercolor brush to paint the highlights. Then I added 3 layers of shadows and again used the lasso tool to keep the colors within that area. With the soft eraser, I blurred the edges of the shadows to make a seamless transition between each shadow layer, because in some areas, contrast between the highlights and shadows weren't meant to be as sharp. I switched the blending mode of some of these shadow layers to highlight because it adds a sunset style gradient to it. And I'm just using the eraser to construct the shape of the highlights on the scalp and the beard. When it came to the hair, I decided to combine a highlight crimson with a brown to make an atmospheric perspective. You'll see the definition on the screen, and there'll be a link in the description. But basically, it's combining the colors of the atmosphere, in this case the sky, to that of the subject, which is the hair, to show the atmosphere's influence on the subject. So even though the hair is brown, the sunset is so strong that it's made a red shadow. I realized that the shadows looked off in some areas, so I just went back there to quickly fix them. I redrew the shadows on the chest because they were too big, and I wanted to expose more of the clothing's natural shadow. The beard was also redone because it sat too low beneath the mouth. I hid the tone layers and lowered the opacity of the inking layer, and above it, I began creating templates for the clouds. For the toning, I'm using the uneven layering brush to lay down the foundation colors. This brush is very good for clouds because it gives you that watercolor style and transparency they might be needing when it comes to realistic painting. But feel free to use any other watercolor brush, it should give the same effect. Because I've just started toning, I'm not too careful with how the clouds look, but later on though I'll tighten the shapes and make them firmer. And now in white, I'm finally outlining the shape of the shadows. And I'm careful here because now I'm adding in details for the highlights. But yeah, I'm just using circular motions here. I'm filling in the area with a cloud brush again, and lightly scumbling in circular motions and putting more emphasis on the right side. A link to this brush will be in the description. I find this approach very effective to realistically painting clouds, as it gives a lifelike appearance to it. Here I'm just creating the sunset sky. I'm making a gradient using red, orange and yellow and blending them seamlessly. Now I'm revealing all layers except for the pencil, cloud templates and copies of other layers. I filled in a new layer with pale orange and placed it above all other layers and switched the mode to overlay. For the sun sheet transparent layer, I filled this in with blood orange and dropped the opacity to 27. Both orange layers were used to fully emphasize the sunlight's impact on the entire area. I cleaned up the excess brushstrokes in the sky and used them to make transparent clouds. When I was conceptualizing this illustration, I wanted to convey Jesus receiving information from his Father. So I decided to draw Jesus looking into the sky, with the light of the sunset shining down on him, as if the light's rays are like information raining down on him. For John 8 verse 2 says, "Again, Jesus spoke to them saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." In the same way that God guided Jesus in his ministry, as he listened and followed him, Jesus guides us on our path of life as we read his word and move in the direction that he wants us to go in. And when we allow his light to illuminate our lives, though all of our shortcomings are exposed to him, he will correct them. I tried to imagine what this light was that Jesus was receiving from the Father, whether it was God's vision for him or his will for his life being revealed to him. Psalm 119 verse 105 says, "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." And considering the new year, I encourage you all to ask God what his will is for your life in 2021 and onwards. Let him be the light of your life. Let him guide you in this new year and forevermore. I can guarantee you that if you let Jesus be the Lord of your life, you will be directed on the right path. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I had fun doing this, and I hope you learned something as well. Make sure to catch up with me on Twitter @InkArts, and please follow me on Instagram @TheInkArtist, and I'll see you all next time.